I was sent to sensitivity training once. This was in about early 2000s, and my old company was being dominated by an investor, and we had to do whatever he told us, and it was our first sort of foray into corporate life in America. And we had a new employee who was gay, and I was going to be working with him a lot, and they said, "How do you get along with this guy?" The guy was incredibly effeminate, and I said, "I love fags. He's awesome." So off to sensitivity training I went, and the woman there was just sort of going, "Look, I know this is stupid, but here's the rules. You can only talk about people when it relates to work. You can say they tend to be late, but you can't say they're a Sagittarius, and you can't do this and you can't do that." And it was all these do's and don'ts of what we're not allowed to say. And so I came back really uncomfortable and unhappy in the workplace. And since then, things have only gotten worse. And I've noticed this with black women, especially. When a black woman is in the workforce, and we just had this recently at another company I worked at, and there was 2 new black women there, and when you say, you know, this is Charlene and this is LaQuasia, you instantly feel this sort of, okay, I gotta be on my toes. And what I also sense when this happens is some disappointment from these women. These black women have been made into pariahs. It's basically, this is Quasimodo and this is the Elephant Man. Watch what you do around them. They're freaks. When they walk into the lunchroom, everyone has to stop making jokes. And these black women don't want that. They didn't ask for that. Women didn't ask for this. Most women in the workplace are cool and funny. So we were discussing this on Stossel recently. He had an episode called That's Offensive or something like that. It was about political correctness. And there was a guy on it called Brad Fetterman who works at the F&H Solutions Group. I talked to him in the green room, and his attitude was similar to that lawyer I spoke to, where he said, look, this is a very expensive thing. It costs companies in America $64 billion a year. Just to go to court is $250,000 a year. You can like it or hate it, it's here. So you might as well hire my company to help you navigate it. Let's show a clip of him talking about this.
It's different for different companies. Some companies are trying to manage compliance. They want to make sure they cover themselves in case they get...
Cover your rear.
Cover your rear. Some companies do. And when you do that, the training doesn't work. They spend a lot of time on things like do's and don'ts. If you really want to make a difference in a company, you have to build a culture.
See, that's the word I hate, culture. You have to build a culture. Yeah, it's a culture of fear. I've been there before. And now we have, in this culture of fear, these insane settlements like Dove Charney from American Apparel, my buddy from Montreal. Irene Morales and Kimbra Lowe claimed they were sexually assaulted by him. Kimbra Lowe said she was raped, and Irene Morales said she was a sex slave. Why these women didn't go to the police, I have no idea. Don't they want this guy taken out of society so he can't do it again? No, instead they wanted $250 million from him. What? Now, luckily Dove had footage of the sexual encounter that was the rape, and it doesn't look like a rape to anyone with eyeballs. And as far as Irene Morales goes, there's plenty of contact from her to him after she was let go, begging to perform sex acts. So their case was totally useless. But this is the culture we're in, where it's easier just to sue than to work, and it's making being an entrepreneur a living hell. Now, these stories are from America, although American Apparel is Canadian, but what the hell are the numbers on the Canadian Human Rights Commission? What are they doing to Canadian businesses? We hear about cases of 10K, 40K. Every week we hear about these cases. The cost must be billions. And my boss Ezra tells me that it's becoming part of union negotiations where they'll go, all right, we're going to get to this level with salary and pensions and benefits, and then with a few harassment charges and a few fines, we'll get up to the number we were hoping for. It must be crippling Canadian business, but you can't get the data on what the CHRC does. I can tell you, though, that I did work at a Canadian company that had no HR department whatsoever. Can you imagine the anarchy? Can you imagine the sexism and the racism and the ass pinching and the nipple twisting? This company was called Sun News, and it's described to most Americans as America's Fox. It's gone now and is arguably morphed into this network, Rebel Media. When I worked there, I would describe the atmosphere as euphoric. Everyone was laughing, except when it was time to get serious. Racial jokes abounded to those races. Sexism abounded, and what I think a lot of women and maybe, new immigrants don't get about this culture is when you are making these inappropriate jokes, it's not predatorial. It's a form of camaraderie. What you're doing is saying, welcome to the club, welcome to our world. And let's face it, work is boring. Most of the time it's monotonous. So at my new job, that's all men and has no HR, just like Sun News, I will occasionally slide my chair over to a coworker and say, you definitely don't want to see my balls, right? Or not even remotely interested, right? And he'll say, no. I go, okay, just asking. And then slide my chair back. A little brief moment of levity in a world gone dull. At Sun News, I could do stuff like, one of my favorite jokes was you undo your pants, and then you're talking to someone about something, and you go, yeah, are we going to be, oh my God, Jesus Christ, my belt, I'm really sorry about that. Now, if your underwear says, don't follow me, I just farted a big one, that's good for even bigger laughs. Now, hardy har har, we're all amused, there's a smile here, endorphins are released, testosterone gets back into work, or estrogen as the case may be, and you get back to work. Now, I was there, fortunate enough to be there, when jihadist Martin Couture-Rouleau assassinated warrant officer Patrice Vincent with his car, and I was there when another jihadist, Michael Zehaf Bibo, assassinated Corporal Nathan Cirillo at Canada's National War Memorial a few days later. That was a serious time at Sun News. And guess how many racist, sexist, and ass-pinching jokes there was during then? 0. Everyone was focused. It was like a tornado of concentration. And we were getting data and facts. I mean, I wasn't. I was just watching as these amazing researchers tore through all the superfluous data. And by the time the police and the authorities told us what was going on, it was all ancient news to us. So this is what happens without an HR department, without politically correct nannies, helicopter parenting around us, and making sure we work appropriately. When it's time to get serious, we get serious. When it's time to have fun, we joke around. That's the way things used to be, and that's the way they ought to be.